Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the NYH podcast. And on today's episode, I've got the Valley Viking himself, Alex, otherwise known as A&E Carpentry. Alex, how are we?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks for coming all the way up from the valleys to meet me in Leamington Spa today.
2 hours and 20-minute drive.
Was it?
It was, yeah. But I'm used to being on the road, so not too bad.
So for people that don't know Alex, he's an Instagram sensation with his carpentry and joinery work that he does down in the valleys. Whereabouts in South Wales are you from?
So I've taken the name as the Valley Viking, but I'm not actually living in the valleys anymore. So I'm originally from South Wales, in the heart of the valleys, the Rhondda Valleys, but I've now emigrated to Bridgend. So yeah, even though I'm in Bridgend, I still got the nickname. I didn't bring up the name myself. It's just someone that one day said you look like Thor or a Viking, and it's just stuck. And I just took the name and ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I suppose being on Instagram and kind of where I am now, to have that tagline or alias, it works. It works. I think if you're putting yourself out there on Instagram and not becoming someone different, but having a different name that someone can like brand
recognize you with.
They can brand
absolutely.
They can associate you with that name rather than just Alex.
Yeah,
it's the Valley Viking. So I like it. I don't know why.
I was going to actually say, is there any Scandinavian blood in your family?
There is. There actually is. So won't bore you with the details. But long story short, my uncle he decided to look back at all our family history. He invested in I don't know what the app is, but he put his time and money into looking back, and he's gone back hundreds of years. But he done a DNA test as well. Yeah. And so in my blood, I've got Welsh, English, Irish, and Scandinavian.
All right.
But Scandinavian, I think most people are anyway. Like I said, no, I think we're all from up north at some point in our generations. But yeah, so I have got Scandinavian heritage. It's just molded me into who I am today, and to become this.
You'll have to start building yourself a big longboat now to take it out.
Well, we might have to with the fuel costs. I might have to.
I know, yeah, it's getting out of hand a bit now, isn't it?
Different means of transport rather than using the van.
So how long have you been going on Instagram now?
So I've been on Instagram officially for 2 years.
Right.
But the last year has kind of been where it's really started.
Yeah.
Really started to take off. Initially, I was dead against it. I was dead against not social media as a whole, but just the Instagram. I think me look at, like, my wife had Instagram, and me looking at Instagram from outside in and thinking, I just didn't get the vibe. I didn't get what all these photos about, and the way people show themselves on Instagram, and it's like this not so fake lifestyle, but showcasing things that may not be real. I was kind of against it, but then when I got into it, she said, look, start Instagram. You want to go on your own, you want to start your own business, the best way to do that is to really showcase the work you do.
Yeah.
And get yourself out there. Obviously, it's a massive platform.
Yeah.
Billions, millions, whatever people will see. Maybe not everyone will see your photos, but even just a handful of people, just to start getting that.
Yeah, and growing
slowly. Yeah, and like I said, since I've been on the platform, initially starting off, it was very small. Wouldn't put myself behind the camera. It was just a couple of photos. And actually, one day, the reason I put myself on the camera was because a past friend of mine, he was kind of getting competitive with like the photos and things. So I'm going to go one above. I'm going to put myself out there because I knew he wouldn't. And it's probably the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Just to get behind the camera, show people, like give them a face to put with the work.
Yeah.
Who am I? It was nerve-wracking at first, and I probably sounded like a bit of a dick. So, look, it's me and my job, but yeah, and now I can't stay from behind the camera.
So. You got to try and fight to get you behind the camera now.
Yeah.
But, so have you done joinery or carpentry since you left school?
Yeah, so started off, I left school at 16. I'm from a family of builders, so all the men in my family, they're into the trade, so they're carpenters, now turned construction managers, contracts managers. So it was kind of not so much drummed into me, it was never forced on me, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It was kind of, if you want to do this, you've got the support behind you to kind of lead you down that path. But the reason I got into it off my own back was through the police.
Oh, right, okay.
So initially I wanted to join the police. I didn't work experience in the police. And one of the main things they said when I was there is they'd rather see people come in with life experience. 18 and a half was the age, whether it still is now, I'm not sure, but 18 and a half was the age to join. But they'd rather see people more towards the age of 22, 23. So they said a trade or an apprenticeship, or just work in general, come in with a CV. If you've got that behind you, you're more inclined to get accepted because you've got a bit of experience with people, life, just in general. So I said, yeah, no worries. So as it happened, my father's good mate, he owns his own carpentry company, managed to get me an apprenticeship. And in my head then it was do the apprenticeship and then go into the police. But as it happens, I was very fortunate to end up with two very good carpenters. They brought me on and I never looked back. It's obviously once you're in that environment, once you're in that sort of work, I become accustomed to it. I not blow my own trumpet, but it was quite good. I was quite good starting off, and it just I just stuck with it.
Yeah, picked up naturally.
Yeah, done the 3 years, done the MVQ up to level 3, and then straight out my own self-employed.
Oh, really?
So yeah, straight out my own self-employed. I actually only done a small stint in the UK being self-employed. It was when the big recession, 2008. Yeah. So it came to that point. I was worried about work, and I said, right, let's go to Australia.
All right.
And I was lucky. I set off to Australia, spent 6 months out there, then came back, and then really kicked things off and to where I am now.
Did you work out in Australia?
I did, yeah, but actually didn't do any carpentry.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't, because of the heat. I kind of picked the wrong time to go, so I went in there summer or winter. I tried doing form work, so it was like their way of shuttering, different setup to what we use back home, and I done 3 days in the blistering heat, and that was it. Too much for me. So the good thing about Australia was at the time it was, if you didn't like a job, you ring someone, you're in a job the next day. So it turned one job I thought I would be doing turned into 5. So it was the joinery, or the form work, landscaping, removal work, farm work, and I settled then for working in a galvanizing plant.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that was fun. That was interesting. Actually, and again, it was a night shift. We did a night shift because I couldn't handle the heat in the day, even though it was still like 33 degrees in the night time. And I suppose it was good because it was another skill, another insight to, I don't know if classes construction, but it's kind of in that circle of that type of work.
A little bit of life experience.
It is, yeah. Well, put it this way, experienced a lot. Turned up at Perth Airport, Aberystwyth in the morning on my own, not even knowing where I was going. Just looked online and thought, oh, there's a place I could stay. And luckily, when I knocked the door, there was one bed left in that hostel. So as you wing it, just have a go, just jump in, just dive in, and I suppose that's the best way to do a lot of things. Just have a go.
Yeah, I try not to overthink things and just go with the flow and see where it takes me. It's like everybody asks me, oh, what's your next move of the podcast? And I'm like, I absolutely have no idea. I'm just going with the flow and going with what feels right.
I think if you plan it, then things can go wrong. If you don't forward think too much, just dive into it and just let it go with the flow, it'd probably run a lot smoother than if you had a plan in place. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. So when you came back from Australia, did you think, right, I'm going to look at the police, or did you just go straight back into joinery site work?
No, straight into joinery. So I had 2 weeks back home to settle in, find work. again, very fortunate that from a family of carpenters. And so man, my uncle actually got me in with a timber frame company. So I started off doing a bit of timber framing. Again, took before I left for Australia, I was on decent money for my age. Quite overwhelming really to go from an apprentice wage into like hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
But I took a pay cut. I took a massive pay cut just to learn the timber frame side of it.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I always knew that I'm kind of in that time of my life now where I'm young. I haven't got as much commitments. I haven't got a mortgage to pay. I haven't got bills, no overheads. It's just me and my parents, where I live with my parents. So now that was the opportunity to like learn and take pay cuts.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, and I took a massive reduction in money. I think but I had 7 months on consistent timber framing.
Yeah.
So you think them 7 months consistently doing a new aspect of carpentry, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And that helped massively to where I am now. So
made you more of a rounded.
Yeah, well, I never like to brand. In my eyes, a carpenter is a carpenter. I know you get like the second fixers, the first fixers, the kitchen fitters. In my eyes, you're either a carpenter or you're not. And I know it might sound trivial, but I've always wanted to do the full package when it opens up more work opportunities too. And it just, the label of carpenter is just better to solidify than doing all them aspects of work.
Yeah.
And it keeps it fresh as well. Like I couldn't think of anything worse than just doing doors every day.
Yeah, I'm a lot like that with the bricklaying side of things. Like I was doing block work on my house yesterday. I'm like, oh, this is boring me because I've done it quite a lot lately. I'm like, I've had enough of doing block work. I want to go and do something else. And before we started recording, the guy where I'm going to work tomorrow, I'm doing a bit of underpinning on the house and things like that, keeping it fresh and interesting.
It does, yeah. And I suppose if you keep it fresh and change the dynamics every day what you're doing, then you keep the enjoyment as well going. And yeah, you can earn a lot of money on certain parts of carpentry. But for me, yes, it's about money. That's what we do it for. But it's also about making sure I get up every day and enjoy, going to work and trying different things, learning different things, and having all them different aspects learned over the years. And, rather than do it when you're young, learn as much as you can then, rather than becoming a timber framer now for the last 16 years, normal work on a timber frame. Yeah. Or you're doing kitchens tomorrow. Yeah. Never done a kitchen before. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a lot of boys I've worked with, and I've always tried to say, look, you need to work extra hours in the evenings, work weekends, learn new aspects of work. No, I'm happy with what I'm doing. It could come that time where you need to know more in your job title rather than just doing doors.
I think that's quite a mature thing to do. Did you find when you were young you were a bit more mature than...
I've always been mature in my ways, mainly because of my family. I had my first job when I was 12, believe it or not. And to this day, my mother and my father would say, you didn't. And I was like, well, why would they make out? So my first job, I was pushed by my parents to work as soon as I was able to do some sort of work. It's not child labour. As soon as I was... Yeah, I know. As soon as I was able to do work or, show a bit more independence, earn your keep kind of thing. Yeah. And it was 12 years of age, done a paper round, 13, 14 and 15, any school holidays, any bank holidays, I was on site.
Yeah.
I was made to go to site. And back then I'm thinking, now looking back then I'm thinking maybe a cruel thing to do, but I wouldn't change it because... Yeah, I still had a life. I wasn't confined into the, covered into the stairs. And I was actually, I lived a very good life and I had a lot. But my parents always, they said this is opportunities to learn to work to get you into that routine of when you actually go out on your own. And I can't thank them enough for that. They said site work, being from a family builders, weekends, everything, made to work, getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but then you think, 15 years old and then you get £120. It's like, wow, you know what I mean? What you could do with that money. So to say from 12 paper round, then on site work. 15 then I worked in an ice cream parlour for a year, and then 16 from there straight into my apprenticeship.
Right.
and here I am now.
So did you? So when you came back from Australia, you worked for the timber framing company. Did you then continue on site for the same company?
With the timber framing for the 7 months, and no, I went to work for another company. I floated around a lot of companies in my, I say younger years. I'm still only 32 now. So when I was a lot younger, I just went from company to company.
Yeah.
On that basis of learn something new.
Yeah.
Meet new people.
Yeah.
Kind of build a contact base. I always knew I'd go on my own eventually, so I want to try and get all these people behind me, as I had contacts. If I was short of work, I can phone up and get more work. And I'm trying to think.
Has there ever been a time where you thought this particular role is not for me, and that's why you've moved on? Or,
not from the timber frame.
Well, any of the.
I've always, I suppose, if you want to look at, like, it's not for me. Carpentry's always been for me, but I've always again built myself to maybe move away from like the tools and follow in the footsteps of my family, where they become site managers or that's one of the main reasons why I try to start Area Carpentry Limited now, is to try and build a company. It's going to be a long time till I get where I want to be, but to build that company so I haven't got to be working on the tools. I don't want to be in my middle 40s, early 50s, still grafting like I am now. One, my body won't hold up, I know, because I'm starting to feel the effects now. But two, it's just not practical. I think, and I've always said, work hard now, put the hours in, sacrifice weekends and evenings now, so when you get up and you've built all this clientele, you've got money behind you, you've built a business, you've built a name, and you can come to an age then where you can think, I can kick back now. You've got people that could be working for you, or you've done so much work and effort up until this point, you're able to kick back and then do all the things you wanted to do. I see people doing it the opposite way around. And I feel for them, because you ain't going to be the keeper up. Your body's not going to be able to let you do what you do.
You're going to have to slow it down, aren't you? But
you will.
Do you feel like, because you are pushing yourself so hard now at the minute, do you find yourself burning out a bit and it taking on too much?
I do, and I'm really stubborn. I'm a stubborn person. I'm a yes man. I find it really hard to say no, which can end me up in a lot of trouble in regards to letting people down, like work and things. I try to take too much on. I was subbing to a company for 10 years, which I've just come away from. And within that 10 years, I was still doing work for myself. But since COVID hit, the last 2 years has been just crazy. Like nothing I've ever experienced before. And obviously Instagram, putting my work out there has obviously helped. But then it hasn't helped, because I've had a lot of demand and a lot of requests to do work for people. And I can't say no. So where does that leave me? It leaves me juggling both jobs, subbing to a company where I've been for 10 years. You think 10 years with one company, I don't want to let them down. And I don't want to let, opportunities for myself slip away. So I've taken everything on. So I was doing stupid hours. I'd be on the road sometimes at 5:30 in the morning, getting back at 10:30. I'd work my normal day hours, and then straight from there, and say from wherever I was working, straight to my other work in the evenings, weekends. Sacrifice a lot of time with my boy, my wife as well. And it come to a point, then come to a head where my wife was even actually thinking of she was going to leave me, because she said, "What's the point in me being with someone? I might as well be on my own, because I don't see you anyway." And I had to think, I had a realization of, you're right. But I promised her, I said, look, you need to understand, I'm trying to build this name, this business, this brand. I need to get to a point where we're financially stable. There's a couple of things I had to do. I wanted to pay some debts off. I wasn't over my head with debt. When I went on my own, I wanted to be like a clean slate. No overheads, no debt. If I had to take a cut in money, I didn't have to worry about extra £1,000 a month I had to spend on whatever. So I promised her, I said, look, let's get to this point, let's get ourselves in a better position. And I promise you, I will say to the company, look, thank you very much for the last 10 years, but my time now is at an end with you.
Yeah.
I'm going on my own.
Yeah.
So I wasn't forced into doing anything.
Yeah.
It was just it was always going to happen, but I needed that bit of a push. My wife's she's always been like the driving force behind me getting to where I am now. That's why the business is named after her. And yeah, it came to that point. She gave me an ultimatum, and it is the best thing ever done. And a lot of people will always say that when you go on your own, you'll never look back.
Yeah.
And until you do it, you don't realise how crucial that statement is.
Do you think, as an industry, though, I think what you've just said there is echoed so many times over. The people that I speak to, they'll say to me something along the lines of, yeah, no, but I'm self-employed. I never know when I might not have that bit of money, and I might need that bit of money to pay a bill, and I might need it to do this.
Yeah.
But I sort of give them a bit of a kickback and just a gentle reminder to say that don't forget your family. Don't forget the reasons why you do all that. And I think that's what your wife said to you there, and she's given you the ultimatum, and it's given you that realisation. My wife did it to me. I bet if you put all the wives of tradesmen together, they'll all say the same thing. And it wasn't till Louise left me, she physically left because of the way I was, and I was putting work in front of everything, which I thought was the right thing to do, but all it was doing was destroying my life. And I think it's so common within the industry that we overwork, we overstretch ourselves, we over-deliver, and it has huge implications in our personal lives. And I mean, for me personally, the reason why we work is to provide for your family. But when you're never there, it can have huge detrimental effects. But it's great to hear that you're now doing positive changes. And a few of the messages we spoke about, saying I'm making time for the weekend for my family and things like that. It's great to hear.
Yeah, I think, like, for anyone, the advice I can give is, if you need to do them things to get you in a better position, have like a time frame, like kind of set yourself a goal of, look, I'm going to be doing, I've got a contract coming up now, which is like a year's worth of work. It's great money, it's longer hours, yes, and weekends, but it's only for that duration. Kind of set yourself a target of putting an extra bit of work and graft in when you're younger, especially if you haven't got as many commitments. So then, you can get a bit of money behind you, or you can get yourself in a better position to go on your own. And it is mentally, I feel so much better. Like today, even I can just say to myself, I'm off today. I'm going to go do a podcast. I'm going to do a show. I'm going to go to the shops. You can do what you want. Within reason, obviously. You've still got a business head on you, and do it in moderation. You can't just think, I'm going to have a couple of weeks off now, because one, if you've got a lot of work to do, you need to kind of factor that in, but you still need to, like you said, work-life balance. And that is something I'm really investing my time and my mind in at the moment. Of keeping that balance.
Well, it's great to hear that you're putting yourself first. Because ultimately, you can have all the fancy tools in the world and this, that, and the other. If you're not there to use those tools, then they're not worth anything. Do you know what I mean? You're the most important tool that you have in your toolbox, and now that you're putting yourself first and looking after yourself, it's good to hear.
And I think I was so wrapped up, like I said, when you're with a company for so long, you just think to yourself, I owe them so much. They've done so much for me, and they've kept me in work, they've paid my wages. But in matter of fact, it's them that should be relying on you. And and they even said to me that our company, or the company, or any company, is only as good as the tradesman you got, which is true. And I think I got so
wrapped up in it.
So wrapped up. I got comfortable. I got really comfortable in being with that company. I didn't want to let them down, but then it's my family.
You knew your money would be there at a certain day. You didn't have to worry about that.
And you get wrapped, you get comfortable, and I don't want to let them down, and and that's why I took the both, Airioc and that company, kind of merged into one. And then I don't want to let them down, but me doing that, I'm letting the people that are important to me down.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's live and learn.
It is. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's really important not to beat yourself up about it. It's happened. You've learned from it. You're moving on. You're making positive, or you've made positive changes, and you continue to make these positive changes. And it's great to hear. And now you can work around your family life because you have got the freedom to do that now. So yeah, it's really good that you're putting yourself and your family life first, and then work can be moulded around that. And now you've got the freedom to do that.
Yeah, and with that, it does. Obviously, I'm catch-22. I need to put my family life first, but now I need to try and build a business as well.
Yeah.
So I got to try and start this business. I've got a plan.
Yeah.
I've got a 5-year plan, and I've got a plan until I'm 40.
Yeah.
So that this is now it's on the other hand. No, the shoes on the other foot. I've got my life where I want it to be, but now I got to try and where I want to be, factor that in with my family life. Yeah, it's going to be challenging.
But it's learning to set boundaries. It ultimately comes down to learning to set boundaries.
And, I'm no businessman. I'm winging it. I'll be honest with you. I've just started up a limited company because I had so much work on that I had to, this push it through, as it's meant to be, do it the proper way, get a name so people can relate to me, not just as Alex the Carpenter. It's just, that's my name, get out there and start building the business. Yeah. And it's going well so far. Too well actually.
But no, so would you, looking back now, do you think the industry has the attitude towards mental health changed quite a lot? Or do you still think it's a very taboo subject?
I think it's a lot. Since I've been not part of, like, I'm an advocate for mental health, but obviously speaking to yourself and other platforms are trying make people aware of issues inside the mental health. I think I'm a bit more open to the idea of what it's about. I've been in situations, not myself personally, but family members and friends who suffer with mental health issues, and I don't think you'll ever fully understand what it's about until you're in that position yourself. Yeah. But the best thing everyone can do is try and learn, look into it a bit, and try and get as much information about it on board. And I think it's better now that mental health in the building industry is being pushed a lot more. Yeah. Because I think everything we just spoke about is a big relation. I've got a very strong head on me. I have, and I'm really thick-skinned. But there have been times where I've thought myself, this is it for me. Like, I can not in that respect, like, I can't go to work. I know I don't want to do this job anymore. Or it does get a lot, especially being on my own at the moment. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the admin. I got my wife to help me partially, but I can't rely on her because she does her own work as well. And it does get a lot for me sometimes. And I've been in tears sometimes. I think one night I come home and I just said, my wife had to go with me about something trivial, and I just, pressure. I did. I broke down, and and I ain't afraid to admit that. Like, I'm quite an emotional guy. I do put a front on sometimes, like for social media and things. I got this like bravado and put a bit of a tough man act on it, but I don't overdo it. But it's just I think maybe it's the Viking thing. You got to have a bit of a presence about you. But I can be emotional sometimes. And that day I just sat down and I just broke down. I think my wife had a realization as well, because she knows I do a lot. She doesn't want me to do a lot, but at the same time, she needs to. She realizes I'm doing it all for us as well. It is difficult. It's catch-22.
I think there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. You have to wear so many hats within your business, like you've just said, and there's the responsibility of paying the mortgages, paying the car payment, paying insurance, all the bills that we all have to pay along the way. And I've had it plenty of times where I've been 6, 7, especially in the summertime, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you think, I need to get this done because I need this money and I need to pay that bill. And we put humongous pressure on ourselves to do that, and we have to perform. We have to be these rough, tough men. And it's amazing to hear that you can sit here and comfortably say to me that I have come home and I have broke down, and there's been times where I've sat in my van and I've cried, and that's me personally saying that. I've come home and I'll sit on the drive and I don't know which way to turn. Do I get out? Do I want to face this? Do I want to deal with that? I've got to think about all this. And I think as an industry, we don't often talk about that. Yeah. We'll sit there and talk about an amazing fart we did. Driving into work, I did a humongous fart. But we won't sit and talk about when I was driving into work, I was thinking about all these things and I don't know which way to turn. And a lot of the time, if we all can come together and start talking about it, and a lot of the time you could say something to me and go, well, when I was at that stage in my life, I did this and things like that. And it's getting better. I think it's definitely getting better, but it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I suppose, like, obviously with yourself and what you were trying to promote with the mental health, in men especially, because it is that you do associate men with being, tough and the brute act. And it's very difficult for us men to open up. I think it does need to happen a lot more. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, which I know, because I see a lot of people like myself, and knowing myself, what I've been through and how I felt sometimes, has got to be Joe Blogs feeling the same way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah.
Got any big plans for the next thing you'd like to achieve, or is there something that you'd like to do, or like to see yourself in? I know you said you've got plans to move forward with the business, but you're not overly right. This is where I've got to go, and this is what I've got to do, and by this date I've got to be here. And by
there's no structure to it.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's guidelines.
Yeah, you can put a preliminary plan in place. Yeah. But you can never, like in the 5 years, I couldn't date everything. In fact, it's got to be done like this. It's just kind of suck and see and just wing it. I have an overall idea of where I want to be and how I'm going to do things, but when they'll happen, it is as and when. Yeah. Like my first thing to do is, Ariok's been running for one whole year, or just over a year, so get my taxes paid, find out about how that works. Did I do it right the first year? I don't know. I could have messed it up completely, but let's get the taxes out of the way, segregate my, obviously I've come away from the other company, so let's get all that done and dusted into this new tax year. I know where I am financially, and then it's look to take someone on. Yeah. So my first thing to do is take on an apprentice or an improver to get someone behind me, because I do need help massively. I'm just struggling on my own for the reason of I haven't got the financial support at the moment to take on more people. They will, once I know where I am, I can take someone on, and then that's it. Just build a team slowly. Obviously, there's a lot of people that I follow on Instagram. They've got kind of their teams already and things. So I'm just playing catch up. So that's the first thing. Take someone on, and then kind of stick with the private work. Coming from site for so many years, I will like to go back to site, or I want to earn money. I want to.
I think
there's only so much money you can earn in private work.
Site and private work are two separate beasts.
Yeah, they are. Private work is a blessing because you haven't got all the health and safety, politics, anything going on jumping down your throat and things. But there's a limit then towards how much money you can earn. I'm not greedy. I'm happy with what I get now. I earn more money now than I did with the other company for a lot less hours. Yeah. But I would like to get money behind me to put myself in a position when I'm older, in my 40s, where to kick back. So I will go back to site. Again, I'm lucky. I've got the contacts. But when is another thing. I just need to be able to get a team of people behind me to be able to help me go on the site then.
that's your next progression with it.
Yeah, I'm lucky at the moment with the private work. It's, you know, some of the jobs are bigger than others, but it's, you know, it's only so big these jobs can go that I can manage on my own.
Yeah.
I got boys that I work with closely that come in now and again to help me. I try and take as much on my own as I can. It's not ideal, but it's only me I got to worry about. So yeah, money does come into it.
Yeah.
I want to earn money, and I want to have people to help me earn money. But then obviously you need to be in that position to be able to take it all on.
Do you find, we touched on it slightly before, but do you think working on your own now solely can sometimes play on your mind, because you think, oh God, I've got all this to do and there's only me to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be defeated before you've even started.
It is, yeah. Like you say, I do the admin and the work. I'm doing material runs. I'm doing takeoffs and price. Yeah. It's not ideal.
No.
But for me, I'm a tight bastard. Mentally, it's fine because I haven't got no to pay. It's just me. So if I don't earn money today or tomorrow, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I've earned money. But if I got someone working with me, it's again, it's that balance.
Yeah.
And it all come. It will work itself out eventually. But I've got to be in a position that I'm comfortable for myself.
Yeah.
And my family, because it's not just me I'm thinking about. I got to worry about my son and my wife as well. So I got to make sure us three are comfortable and in a position for me to go and take the next step. I couldn't take on a carpenter now. I couldn't, because obviously the cost of living now as well. Wages are going up, and I haven't got the work in front of me to support me and another should be. So an apprentice would be ideal. I'm actually looking into a college apprentice, and hopefully the college would be to help with the funding as well. Just takes the pressure off a little bit, and you know, I'd like to give someone an opportunity to learn as well. So it's good to have a carpenter, but then I'd like to actually give something back to an apprentice. It is a big risk because some are better than others, you know, and then that's the other thing to think about. If you're so busy with work and you're taking on someone who doesn't know a lot, and you've got to teach them, and you got blah 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 blah. So, but I got to take the risk. I got to take the risk and give something back to someone. And there's a demand at the moment for tradespeople. Yeah, and we need to bring people up the ranks and through the ranks, because they are the future. Yeah. So when I'm retired or whatever,
retired at 39,
I can grace one of the lucky youngsters all my knowledge.
You have to make him grow a beard and a ponytail. But
that is that's a must.
With like you just touched on it slightly there, with the price of living going up and the price of materials, it's just day to day now. Do you feel that has piled on more pressure on you, that you'll quote for a job and say, I can only give you this price for 2 weeks, and then you go and do it and it's gone up again, you think, I've got to swallow this cost?
Yeah, 100%. I've started taking deposits from people as well now, even people that I'm close with, or I know. I do a lot of work for family and friends as well, but deposits will be taken, and any invoicing and quotes that I give out will have then 7 days. You've got 7 days to notify me if you want to give a deposit, or you're happy with the price work. Otherwise, the price could fluctuate up or down.
Well, hopefully it's going to stabilise, because I've had a few, like on the building side of things, I've had 3 jobs cancelled now because it's just too expensive.
That is the worry. I'm booked up now, touch wood, up until middle of July, and work dotted in up until October. But my worry is this is my first year of my own. The summer, I'm comfortable. I know it's going to be okay. It's coming into the winter months, and with a recession on the horizon that they reckon, that's gonna test me then. But fingers crossed. I'll be okay. I know I'll be okay because I'm lucky. I got people behind me who give me work and support me. But I don't want to think like that. My thought process is I'm on my own now. I don't want to rely on anyone else. I got contacts. I want to get work or whatever. But it's about me on my own, and then building my business and getting people in with me, not having to rely on. No, I don't want to be saying, look, Dad, we've got a couple of months' work for me, and then go in as Alex or whatever. It'd have to be area carpentry coming in and doing the work. But I think it'll be okay. I've been lucky and fortunate enough that I haven't been out of work for the last 17 years. Since I started.
And that's
it.
Well, that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
And I support, people, they say, you do a good job, you get asked back. I'm good at what I do, but only because I've put that effort, I've put a lot of time, I've sacrificed a lot to get where I am now. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I say, like you say, it does speak for itself. And there's not a lot of people maybe that can say that they've never been out of work. I think I've only been off work by choice. Not out of like, there's no shortage of work or can't pay. Or very lucky. I'm a very fortunate person. I'll never forget that. It's never a day I wake up and think, oh, I got it easier. I know I've worked for it, but I'm always thankful that I am where I am now.
You'll have to get, if you take on any big work, you'll have to get Danny up, and you'll have to get Dean on it, and you'll have to get George on it.
I was going to ask for him to come down the other day. Do you want to put some steels in?
I'll come down and put some steels in.
Because that's what's happening now. I'm taking on, I'm branching out from carpentry as well. That's another thing I thought of. If I'm going to go on my own, do I start looking into other aspects of building works? Even if I take projects on, I can't do them myself because I can get other people in, but it just secures a job then. My worry sometimes is someone has to do a kitchen, but we want you to do the building works as well. Sorry, can't do that. I just do the kitchen. Okay, you know what? We'll get someone else in just for a lot. That's my worry. I don't want to lose the work, so I just take the work on. I know a lot of people, good people, get them in. And that's why I'm trying to build and unify as well. Yes, it's me, area with my people, but we're going to get other people in to collaborate and work alongside, which has started to happen already, and it's all through Instagram. So there is a community of us at the moment that we're all very friendly with. Obviously, we've got the show in July, which a lot of them are going to. But I'm using the platform to team up with other tradespeople. And help each other out, look after each other. I think if we do that as well, we're never going to be short of work. There's always going to be someone's, I need a carpenter, I need a painter. So I've got a team around me of people that I recommend or I get in, and that's what I'm trying to do, get my team and then an outer team and of other tradespeople we can all get together and get these jobs done. And not to lose work, and to do a job from start to finish. That we can say, area carpentry is doing this project. The full hog. That's and it might even turn into a fully fledged builder. I don't know. When I met with Tony from Build with A&E, one of the things he said, and he asked me, have we ever thought about branching out? And it wasn't until he spoke about that with me, I thought, I never thought that. But do you know what? I'm actually from a family of builders. I've got all this help knowledge and support and knowledge around me. I've been around it since I've been 14. I've probably looked at things and thought, I can do that. I put my hand to that. I didn't even think about it. But so I have taken on other aspects of building. Nothing too big yet. I got some tiling the other day. Easy. Tiling's easy. So with the feature wall, then with the tiling. So with kitchens now, I do the splashbacks and the tiles with that, and keeping it small. But just branching out.
This is it. Baby steps. It's all progression.
It is progression. It's baby steps. And one of the big things is like you're never too old to learn anything new. I know they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I think it's different in our game. It's always something you learn every day, every single day. And the one thing that bugs me, and I'll always say, I hate it when someone says, I'm a master carpenter, or I'm a no. You're not, because you think you know everything, but the world is consistently changing. There's new products coming out. There's the technology is changing. You can't keep up with the world. You're never a master of anything. You're good. You're always good at what you do, but you'll never be the best. I think I'm the best sometimes, but you got to tell yourself you're the best. But but that's one. It's one statement I done. I don't really like to. Just don't like reading.
Well, I think that's a great way to end it. But
yeah.
Alex, thank you very much for making that journey down here today and coming and talking about us.
It's been a pleasure.
And I look forward to continuing to watch your journey and your progression, and as the business grows and you grow and you develop as a person, and it's fabulous to see.
No, and say thank you for having me, and this is like one of the first of many doors that has been open for me. There's a lot going on in the year, so yeah, back again. Instagram, keep watching and see what's going on with myself and everything else, and yeah, stay along for the start, the never-ending journey, I suppose, and the start of the big ride is coming.
Yeah. Well, I'll put all Alex's handles for social media in the description box below this. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, it'll be in that as well, or Apple Podcasts and all the other platforms we're on. Again, thank you to the team down at Build A&E for letting us come down and use the studio. I'm a full-time member of staff here now. I think I've been here that long. Again, thanks to Alex for coming on the podcast with us today. It's been amazing, even with all the technical issues that we've had. I think we're going to have to get a priest in here afterwards. But if you have listened to this on Spotify or any other podcast platforms, head over to our YouTube channel and give it a watch, because all your support and thumbs up and likes and shares and everything is very, very much appreciated. And thank you again for coming on this journey with us. And I'll see you on the next one. So thank you very much. There we go.
Happy days. I think that went okay.
It did. Just that camera went, I'm not having this, and then this camera kept switching itself off.